Would you like to have a friend?
When I can see them. If I can't see them, they're an enemy.
Let's see. Let's see how that goes. Possum crossing.
Yeah, hear the rustling stuff pop out.
I hope not. Better to find another way around, little possum. Dino ain't having it tonight. Or any night, really, to be honest with you. Scotty said we got a guideline strike on deep fat fried for something fucking TJ did. TJ did like an abandoned hope or something that got struck.
I saw there was a warning on onion nuggets. I didn't see anything on deep fat fried. Peek at it. No.
Well, you don't have to. It is what it is. We got one, we got one. Have to just stream on the onion nuggets channel till it falls off, I guess. Give me a quest. All right. Here's your quest. Go to your bank, pull out every dollar in it, and send it to me now, or the world will burn. I know I was right. I know I was right. You ain't got to tell me. Trust me, I know. I'm aware. Will you give me the magic greens? No. These are mine. These are my magic greens. Lay off them out.
Definitely only on onion nuggets, not deep fat fried.
Oh, it's onion nuggets? Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
It's a warning, so it doesn't even really... One of the...
I thought it was a strike. It's not a strike?
No, it's a first time warning on onion nuggets, but I didn't see anything on deep fat fried.
Okay. All right. Well, we should be fine then.
There's no...
Gotta find out what TJ did.
It was an abandoned hope for the archive. But...
Oh, so an old abandoned hope.
Yeah. So TJ didn't... Yeah.
He didn't do anything.
Nope. It was just an old thing that got reran through the algorithm.
Great.
So, do you want me to...
An old private video
Yeah.
that nobody's even watched in fucking years gets looked at.
Yeah.
And they decide, even though this has been up for years, it is inappropriate for YouTube.
Yeah.
I swear to God, that this company is got to be one of the stupidest fucking companies on the planet, bro. I have never, ever seen a company work against the people that make it all its bread harder than YouTube does. YouTube literally makes your life a living hell if you want to be a creator.
Do you think we need to clarify with them, or you think you just misunderstood?
I guess I just misunderstood, yep.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm not too worried about it. They need a competitor. Yeah. The problem...
Vimeo was looking like a competitor, and then they just decided to ass fuck everyone.
Vimeo wasn't going to be a competitor anyway. like a functional monopoly. What needs to be done is a trust bust. Like Google needs to be completely broken up into 5 or 6 different companies, completely
YouTube,
adversarial
its own
companies.
thing.
Yep. Because like
Search gets taken over by someone else.
Yep. This idea that one company can control this slice of the media landscape entirely is the clearest example of a fucking monopoly going on in the United States that I can think of.
Well, they have like a whole half of the cell phone market that they have their shit
Yeah.
pre-installed into.
Yeah, their shit comes pre-installed on half of the cell phone market. They own their own cell phone company. So they create their own phones. They provide their own service. They're a AI algorithm company, a tech research company, an ad revenue company, a search company, a vlogging company, a company that hosts user-made uploads, cloud storage, a company that has its own entertainment program and creates its own shows. This is a company that's become a monster. This happened back in the 30s.
Well, I think it's called like a vertical monopoly, right?
Yep.
They have so many stages.
Yep. It's a vertical monopoly. So back in the early 20th century, late 19th century, there were these 5 or 6 robber barons, is what they were called, that basically owned every piece of industry in the United States. And they not only owned the industry, but they owned the shipping and they owned the point of sale. So they are a company that creates steel, works the steel, creates end user products, and there's no other company you can go to get it. You have to ship it through their shipping company to get their product. It's a monster. It's a monster of a company that literally owns a huge swath of a certain type of thing, a certain market. And they do what's called anti-competitive practice. So when they have competitors, they squash them because the competitors can't.
Well, it's like if there's a YouTube competitor, are their videos going to show up in Google search?
No.
No.
Google can completely make it to where that search line is buried. They can decide, like, if you even go looking for their competitor, we're going to give you 5 or 6 other things first.
Yeah, like a bunch of ads.
Yep, ads, something that sounds like it, something that's adjacent. It's a mess. Just like, think about it. If you wanted to start a company that was making goods with steel, you had to work with Jay Gould. You had to work with Rockefeller. You had to buy steel from them. You had to ship steel through them. You had to license your use of that steel through them. So they had their hand in every person's pocket for an entire industry. And we've allowed that to happen again, mostly in the United States with defense and tech companies. So pharmaceutical, defense, tech. Those are the companies that have ballooned into these monstrous companies that control every point of the supply chain and own a lot of the infrastructure on the supply chain. And it's completely anti-competitive. It's unthinkable that a company could even try to compete with Google.
Yeah, it's like if there was like a serious competitor to them, like they would have to have an app to be competitive.
Right.
They could just say, "Oh, this app doesn't meet our guidelines. We're taking it off the Play Store."
Yeah. And like they're not going to have their app installed automatically on half the phones.
Yeah.
So how do you even compete with that? People get their phone out of the box and the first thing they see is your Google app.
The only chance of competitor would be Apple, but I don't think Apple even wants to do that. They're happy enough with their Apple Music shit.
Apple doesn't want to get into the business of blogging and shit.
I'm glad you saw the substance morning glory. Yeah, it was pretty empty when we went too. There was only like 4 other people there.
Kitty cat, kitty cat.
Did you have a 5 alarm?
Huh?
Did you have a 5 alarm?
What do you mean? Yeah, what do you think? How did you know?
I heard the toilet seat slam.
Oh, conk. Yeah. 5 alarm duty.
You okay?
I'm fine. Just gotta get up and go sometimes, man. I ate raw hot dog. There's no such thing as raw hot dog, bro. Hot dogs are all cooked.
Yeah. They just taste better cooked. Or heated up.
Yeah.
Again.
Crisped up or whatever.
This is the neighbor's dog, right?
Yep. Dinosaur didn't come out. Kind of sounds dinosaur-ish. It's Shih Tzu-y. See, the Shih Tzu voice is loud anyway.
I think the possum's bugging that dog over there.
Could be.
That's what happened.
She walks this whole fence. I bet she walks this whole neighborhood all the way down. Finds the choicest yards.
Yeah.
She's got it made. Jailbreak your phone, can remove Google. Yeah. Good luck having like 90% of individuals do that, dude.
Yeah, it's not that it's impossible, it's that it's increasingly inconvenient. And people love convenience.
It's improbable.
Yeah.
It's like most people, the vast majority of people that get a cell phone are going to leave it exactly as they got it and use whatever's on it. That's just the vast majority of people. Most people are not going to go through the whole, rigmarole of jailbreaking their phone so that they can go and edit how it looks and functions. They're just not going to do it. And you can't even really do that on an Apple phone. So half of the phones, you can't even do it. I know, seriously. The ghoul is crazy, bro. Midnight Ghoul, she don't fuck around. She lays it down. She enforces, okay? I'm glad people are going to see The Substance. I asked TJ and Scotty what they thought of it, and TJ was just like, you'll have to find out on Tuesday, winky face. And I was like, oh, no. I have a feeling that TJ has decided that because I was so excited about this movie that it was gonna suck, and therefore did suck. That's what I think. That's what I think is gonna happen. TJ decided that because I pushed this so hard, and because I was so insistent that he purchase those tickets, that he was going to hate this movie. And I think he's convinced himself that he hated the movie because I liked it so much. That's what I think. Otherwise, I think he would have just said, dude, movie was badass.
Did you get a straight answer from anyone?
Nope. Nope. So I have a feeling that not only has that happened, but that TJ has talked Scotty into it as well. And so now they both didn't like one of the best movies that has come out in years because I liked it. Congrats. No, I don't know if that's what happened. I'm catastrophizing the worst possible outcome. Because this is a movie that transcends your need to be a contrarian. It's a good movie. It's a great movie. It needs to be seen. It needs to be discussed, like, seriously. And I get the feeling that we're going to have a whole, like, it was alright. I don't know. It's kind of boring. I fell asleep. You know, it's going to be one of those. I'm going to be like, whew.
You can always pull the misogyny card if he doesn't like it. Like, are you a misogynist, TJ? You don't like feminist horror?
Is it something that needs to be seen in theater? Yes. It's the audio design, the sound design in this movie are fucking great. Like, all of the Foley and stuff done in it is so juicy and crunchy and good. Like, yeah, you're gonna enjoy it in the theater. You started the movie eating chicken tenders. Don't eat any meat or saucy stuff at the beginning of the movie. In fact, don't bring any of that. Because you're not going to want it after the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, Demi Moore said that was the most horrific scene in the whole movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, the movie was so good, dude. It was so good. It was so Kubrickian. It was just so well done. It's the best movie I've seen in a long time. A long time. Oh yeah, Dennis Quaid absolutely just chewed the scenery, bro. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Metal Mechanic. I knew you drove a fucking hour away to see it. I told you, right? Worth. I have not seen Vice. You want to watch Beetlejuice? Please don't. 10 out of 10. I told you, bro. I told you. Dude, I don't sound the you have to go to the movies now alarm hardly ever, bro. Because to be honest with you, most movies don't rise to that occasion. Most movies don't rise to the level of that. You met Dennis Quaid in 2004. I've heard through the grapevine that Dennis Quaid is kind of a dick. Is that true? Or was he nice to you?
Well, it's still playing tomorrow, but it's down to 2 showtimes tomorrow.
I mean, I've seen it. I can wait to, I got to see it in the prime. You know, maybe they'll do like a re-release of it in a couple years like they did with Midsummer. We'll go see that.
I'm just saying it's an option to think about.
Yep. Was Beetlejuice worth seeing? I skipped it. I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna guess no, it's not worth seeing. Oh, you saw Sweeney? That's awesome, bro.
So sad it's already down to 2 showtimes.
It's a flop. They didn't do this. It's probably got one of the worst advertising campaigns ever for a film that did so well at Sundance and Cannes. You would think that they would have had a push behind it, but there just wasn't one. They just did not do a good job.
They did the talk show circuit, but that's not the audience that you're
No.
trying to reach.
No, old people watch talk shows. You're trying to get the youth audience. You're trying to get young people that are vlogging and talking and tweeting and Facebooking about it. That's how you get the word out. And
They're not watching Jimmy
I'm the
Fallon.
only person that I've seen on social media screaming about this movie. The only. I haven't even bumped into somebody else. It's like nobody is talking about this film, and it's just going to be one of those that goes right. It's going to slip right through the radar, because horror just gets treated like dog shit by the Academy. They never, hardly ever, give horror its due, and it's just going to slip by. Part of it is the name. the name of it just sounds generic, and what the fuck is that? It's not immediate enough. Yeah, it's a psychological body horror film. What's your favorite movie genre? Horror. Easy peasy. 100% horror. Easy. No questions asked. No hesitation. I'm a horror freak from the very beginning.
The trailer got viewed. It got viewed 4 million times, but it
just wasn't enough. They didn't do it. They didn't do right by it. It's like Cronenberg and Takashi Miike wrote a movie that Kubrick directed, but they let Dario. Dude, I hear you. It's a work of genius. It's an elevated film. This is a movie that you can tell there was a clear vision behind it, and that vision was realized to the greatest extent that you can. And, nobody went and saw it. It's really frustrating, man. Really fucking frustrating.
Well, there's a few people doing reviews on YouTube.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, people, like, you see how movies blow up, how you can't go to a place without hearing about it. And it's like, why not this movie? This movie is more deserving of that kind of treatment and fawning than any movie that came out this year. And yet, it's not even going to be mentioned at the end of the year. Oh, people are going to, like, I tell everybody that'll listen. It will be. It's already in my mind a cult classic. I can already feel it. It's gonna be a cult classic. It's gonna be one of those movies that like horror heads all know about, but people outside of that go like, "Oh no, I never saw that. Oh, I don't even remember that." It's just the movies have been so dismal lately, man. Like the big movies, the popcorn experience has been so dismal. Like 2024 has been an awful year, dude. Like Dune 2 was great. No complaints about that. That was the second best theater experience I had this year was Dune 2. Good movie, beautiful movie, exciting movie. Every other film I went and saw in the movies this year was disappointing. Except The Substance. I went and saw a bunch of the big ones, man. Killers of the Flower Moon, saw it. Almost fucking fell asleep in it. Napoleon, saw it. These are all the big movies that weren't superhero films this year. And, it was just a dismal year for that, for me. Now, Dune was good. Bordering on great. I mean, it was visually, like, awesome, right? And I really loved Austin Butler's portrayal of Feyd-Rautha. They did that justice. I enjoyed that, but it was...
It's made 10 million worldwide now.
That's not... I mean, that's...
It's still...
It's garbage. Probably had a $20 or $30 million budget.
It had a $17.5 million budget.
Okay,
so
well.
It's not going to make its budget.
Nope.
They're going to give that director work again, probably.
No, I mean the director will probably get work again, but not the type of work that they should be getting.
They're not going to get the same budget, or they're not going to get the same control.
They're going to have to sell another project. and it's not going to come with the with the accolades of having a movie that blew it up and that's considered to be a modern classic, which this movie is, by the way.
Would you say it's like akin to the Thing in terms of horror iconic?
I mean, I don't know. I put it in the same conversation. It's just gonna be one of those movies that I reference from here on out when I talk horror. I'm gonna compare other films to it. It's a body horror film, so yeah, I mean, definitely comparable to The Thing in that way, right? The Thing is one of the, just a really like well-known body horror film. So, but yeah, it's in the conversation for me now. It's gonna be one of those movies that for the rest of my life I will compare other movies to it. Oh, this had a kind of a substance kind of feel to it. Or you know what this reminded me of a little bit? The Substance. It's like in that conversation now.
Yeah, that Napoleon movie was so mid.
Fully mid.
We should have listened to Scotty about that one. I think he'd said it was mid before we went.
Well, he didn't. Yeah. He didn't downplay it, but he didn't upplay it either. Do you like the Rocky Horror Picture Show? Yes. It's a great movie. That's a very fun movie to watch. It's kind of hard to explain to people, though. People that have no experience with it. It's a tough one to take somebody into dry. But yeah, great music, great, like, obviously Tim Curry just, like, blows up the screen. It's just fantastic.
Would you call it a horror comedy?
Yeah. Comedy horror. Or no, horror comedy, yeah. Ugh.
Dude, what if we opened a movie theater, but we only played the movies that flopped?
The Flop House.
Yeah. Like, did you miss it in theaters? They dropped it out too soon. We got them
For cheap. We got it for cheap. Yeah, probably. Yellow Luong is quite possibly designed bosses ever. Are you trying to... What are you saying, bro? Yellow Luong, the boss in Wukong, are you trying to say is possibly one of the worst designed bosses ever? Is that what you're trying to say? Okay, the worst. I defeated that boss in 2 tries. He beat me the first time. The second time I whooped him. That was one of the easier bosses in the game. From my perspective. You want a boss that fucked me up? Wait until you get to, what's his name? The Yaksha King or whatever the fuck. Red Boy. That one I had to fight like 50 times. Maybe not 50, like 30 times before I beat him.
I think you like the opportunity of fighting that first, like, optional boss.
Yeah.
Because that was a real challenge for you.
Yeah. Well, that helped me learn the game.
Yeah.
The rat? No, not the rat. He's having trouble with Yellow Luong, who you probably don't even fucking... You probably didn't even get your first playthrough, bro. Yellow Luong's a secret boss that you have to do a whole quest line to get to.
I accidentally scrolled and there's a grandpa doing a mukbang.
Oh no. Grampy mukbang, please. No.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima 2. Yeah. It should be good. Probably won't be as good as the first one, though. They tend to, like, suck all the goodness out of games with these sequels. Instead of making it something new and fresh, they just make another game, the same engine and the same setting.
I'll admit, like, there's pros and cons to a reskin. Some people really do just like reskins. They like the loop of a very certain game, and they want to play the same loop with a different setting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is what it is. I just get bored with the same loop. Oh.
Hades 2, I think, is coming out.
It's getting full release soon or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, you should get it. That's your game. It's not hard per se, it's just the fact inputs drop, so you're there looking like a moron as your character does nothing. Homie, I think you might have a controller problem or something. I think that might be user error. If Wukong dropped inputs, I would not be close to beating it. I don't play games that drop inputs. It doesn't drop inputs, bro. I think you might, maybe your machine isn't handling it well. Like, I don't know if you're playing it on console or PC. If you're pushing your PC too hard, you might be getting like micro stutters and stuff. But, yeah. The screen is fucking laggy, dude. Maybe is Ben across the room fucking laughing at you? That can fuck up your performance. Alien Romulus might be the worst movie of the year for me. It's not the worst, but it's mid-tier. Straight mid-tier. Better than, yeah, at least, okay, better than. More of an Alien film than Prometheus or Covenant. So, thumbs up there. But maybe the 4th or 5th best Alien movie, depending on where you stand. Bro, Avery, I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm really gonna give you a chance to stop. Okay? You need to read the room hard. Okay? I read comments. If I don't respond to one of your comments, it's because I'm not interested in talking about it. Okay? I hate to have to fucking talk to you about that, but this is the 4th comment of yours that I've seen saying the exact same fucking thing. And I've tried to be polite and just ignore you and hope that you move on. But now you've been noticed. Does it feel good? Are you glad you did it now? Are you glad that you wasted my time now and everybody else's? Don't do it. Have you seen recommendations? Those are horrible, horrible places to start. Is it an Outwater bot? If it is, it's not gonna last one more Outwater post. I'm real fucking serious, man. If there's an actual human being behind that, I hope they heard what I said. And I hope they learned the difference. What's your favorite is bad, but have you seen, have you listened, have you heard? Because 90% of the time, after reading a paragraph worth of question, the answer is no. And then what am I supposed to do from there? It's just a waste of my time. Don't do it. I mean, I don't know, dude. Maybe it's just like the fighting system is like maybe it's more fluid for me than it is for you. It's definitely like more of a Devil May Cry type of game than it is a Souls game. And so maybe that's the problem that you're having. It's not a Souls-like. It's a Devil May Cry game. And so, yeah, I'm good at Devil May Cry, and so I like that loop. And so I really haven't struggled as much with most of the bosses that people say are unbeatable in the game. Like the first one that I heard people bitching about was Yellowbrow, and he sucked because it just took forever to beat him because it's like a multi-stage fight with a bunch of lame-ass cutscenes and bullshit. But I beat him in 2 or 3 tries. You're my good luck charm, Paul. I just got him. Good. See, now you're past. Now, Yellow Long didn't give me much trouble, but I kind of cheesed him. You know how I cheesed him? He's got this thing where at a certain distance, and I figured it out the first time I fought him. At a certain distance, he does this cool thing where he just kind of like walks kind of like around you a little bit. If you keep him at that distance, so there's like a minimum distance where he will engage you. He likes to stare you down, right? So if you get him at that mid distance and just charge up a staff power attack, I use the pokey one. He'll just eat it almost every time. Then you dodge out whatever his retaliation move is, get him back in that mid range and walk him back, and zzz, ping. He just eats it. It was a design flaw, but I exploited the fuck out of it.
Well, I think that's what some of the boss fights before that kind of taught you. It's like, you gotta be patient with some of the bosses.
Yep. But yeah, you just get a full charged power attack or whatever with the pokey staff. And he just goes, doom! He'll just eat it every time. It's a chunk, like, ping. If you keep him at that distance, you only have to deal with a few of his outbursts where he's gonna do this big giant screen clearing thing. You just gotta dodge out or go invisible. You know, I don't think I used the invisibility thing. I think I used the rock thing on him. Yes, sir, you were 100% correct about my controller as well. It's def messed up. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. Trust me, I would notice dropped inputs and shit. I don't fuck around with that. In a game like this, you can't be dropping input, so yeah, you might have a fucked up controller or something.
You got your Xbox 360 clone Chinese knockoff off of Amazon.
King Kong 2 is what it's called, yeah. And it's the best controller I've ever had. Like in terms
besides
of
the OG 360.
Besides the OG 360, yeah. I used that one way longer than I've had this one, but I think this one is it's a little quirky, but you banned me a while ago, I did nothing. Now you're banned again. How's it feel? I just cleared the bans, and you just got banned with your first thing back. How does it feel? Do you think it might be you? Do you think maybe it's not me? Do you think maybe it's you? Clown from Slipknot. Good one. See ya. See you next alt, bud. I use my PS5 controller, but they break so easily. Only 2 years, and the R1 button drops inputs. Yeah, I don't like PS5 controllers. They're too small for my hands. I've got kind of big mitts, and a PS5 controller makes me feel like I'm crowding my hands on the controller. It's just not a good feel. I like a big chunk. Now you're banned, wearing that stupid little hat. How does it feel? Look into a King Kong 2 controller. They're Chinese, but they have that driftless stick technology. There's analog, and then there's some other type of stick that doesn't get stick drift. You should check it out. And it's built like a brick shithouse. If you're a controller spiker, you're not gonna break it. want to let the people see you? Do you want to let the people see you, D? They need to see you because you're... Oh, no, come here. No.
Go see Daddy. Go see Daddy. Go see Daddy.
D, come here.
Go see Daddy.
Come see me for just a minute before you get lap time. Okay.
Oh.
He needs a lap. He's not going to be happy unless he gets a lap.
He likes mom's lap.
Well, he can't get my lap on this one because the arm things make it hard for him.
He also doesn't like that your chair rocks.
No, he doesn't like that as well. He prefers a mom lap. Dirty old Dusty D.
Oh boy. I was going through old DFF episodes earlier, and I found the one that I regret.
Which one?
The foreskin one. It made so many people sad.
You did. You ruined a lot of people's day. A lot of dudes don't know what they're missing, you know?
The comments on that one are all like, I'm so depressed now.
Yeah. You have ruined me.
Is there one that you regret?
Bro, the one that really destroyed me was Basquiat.
Yeah.
I love Basquiat, and I think his story and his art is just so compelling and so interesting. And people just hated on that, and it did so terribly that I was just like, That one made me sad, because it's a passion of mine that typically when I do something that I'm passionate about, the audience comes along with me. On that one, the audience didn't give a fuck.
Well, it was that in like the Skyrim episode, I think, too. But...
Well, that one was my bad.
Yeah.
Because I thought that the guys had played Skyrim and shit. They're both gamers, so I assumed that at least one of them had played an Elder Scrolls game at some point. But neither one of them has ever booted up an Elder Scrolls. Go fig.
Maybe if you had invited Stevie on, it would have worked.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's what we should have done.
Yeah.
Like, instead of just going live and saying, fuck it, we should have just called Stevie and had him sit in with me, and we could have done a nerdy-ass Elder Scrolls episode or some shit. I love the Basquiat episode, even if most posers hated it. I mean, whatever. I mean, look, dude, it's not, at a certain point as a content creator, you got to take responsibility for your shows. Like, it just wasn't a topic that interested our fans, or I didn't present it in a way that drew people in.
Yeah, maybe the bio stuff should have been chopped off or something, and like jump right into the art. Maybe that might have helped.
I mean, it lacked immediacy, so maybe, or maybe sprinkling the art throughout, just using the art as a backdrop. But yeah, you know, I can't blame you guys for not liking something I did. Like, there's really only one person at fault for that. And it just sucked because it's a, you know, it's just a very exciting artist for me and a very exciting topic. And typically when I have that type of passion and excitement behind an episode, the audience will come along with me just for the vibe, you know. But on that one, and I admit that, like, Basquiat is he's a divisive artist. There are people that look at Basquiat and they couldn't be any more disinterested in what he's doing. There are people that look at it and they say, like, that looks like a 6-year-old painted it.
Yeah, that's why I think, like, we were trying to maybe do more of the bio to try to get people in if they were turned off by the art, but it seemed like that backfired.
Well, his bio is just like his upbringing is so interesting to me. His story is interesting to me. The time at which he got whatever they call it, the time in which he
was recognized.
Right, when he was recognized, when he started his art career, was just like a hugely influential time in art history. It was like, just like an art revolution going on where young people had reclaimed these parts of New York that had fallen to poverty, and they were just squatting and creating art for a living. Just this crazy kind of magical time. And it produced him, or he produced it, one way or the other. I knew nothing about him before that episode, and I really enjoyed it. I wish we would do another one like it. Well, we did a Dali episode recently,
Yeah.
which, was very similar in terms of presentation.
He's just, a more well-known figure.
Right, and his art is more immediately accessible than Basquiat's. Basquiat's art being challenging visually is one of the reasons I love him so much. But I tend to be a person who kind of, I don't know, like
I think that's why you like horror too.
Yeah, because horror, like, once you understand horror as a genre, you realize that horror exists to make fun of movies, not
to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, like horror exists to put you in a position where you're having these movie tropes thrown at you, and then those tropes blow up in your face. I mean, it really is an anti-trope type of genre. And I like iconoclasts. Let's put it that way. I like people that go their own way. People that aren't necessarily recognized as geniuses in their time, or maybe never. Too stupid. Too stupid. But guys, he was laughing. You saw the raffle mouse smiley? He felt good about that. He was really laughing when he typed that. He was doubled over. He could barely control himself. He had to type the raffle mouse, dude.
I saw someone mention Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods was good, but like the 10 movies that did the same thing after it sucked.
What else? What other movies did the same thing?
I don't know, I just felt like there was more self-awareness in some movies.
That's true.
Well.
Yeah, maybe not the same, like...
Not the exact same concept.
But yeah, that whole, like, breaking the fourth wall, kind of self-aware, yeah. It did start a trend of that in horror. But it came out at a time when horror was functionally dead.
Yeah.
Like, 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, horror...
I think it was more than...
It's like 10 years ago now, right? Cabin in the Woods. Who still uses Rafflemow? People that are coping, bro. Rafflemow used to mean somebody thought something was hella funny. Now it means, like, 9 times out of 10, it means somebody's coping. Typically, somebody will be coping by punctuating some unfunny shit that they said in chat with it. So they'll say some unfunny shit and then put a Rafflemow at the end and hope that that carries people with it, It's sad. It's a self-delusional tool now. It used to actually mean, holy fuck, that was funny. Now it just means like, cope, hope this cope passes. It's literally the Wojak with the smug face, but it's a mask and you can see him crying underneath it. That's literally it. That's what the Rafflemow smiley is. It's just another thing that has been run through the internet and made meaningless. That's what the internet does best. It takes things that are funny in the moment and makes them utterly meaningless. It's like, here's my favorite example of this, and there are tons. Maybe we'll talk about this for a while. The term gaslight, right? The term gaslight had a very specific meaning when people started using it. It was based on I think it's like a 40s film of the same name, Gaslight, where a person convinces his significant other that she's insane. by reinforcing that insanity, right? He gaslights her into believing that reality is not reality, okay? That's what gaslighting is. It's, you sure you're not crazy? Right? Now, gaslighting just means somebody disagreed with me and I want to make them look like an asshole for disagreeing with me. That's what it means now. Fascist. Fascist is just, you disagree with me politically now. It's just been like the internet does this. Takes terminology, memes, phrases, and makes them utterly meaningless. Yeah, well, I mean, the whole Biden being fine was gaslighting. Like, you don't believe your lying eyes. That's gaslighting. You didn't see what you think you saw. You didn't see an old man struggling to cognitively function. You saw a tired guy. He was just tired. He's fine. Behind the scenes, Biden is sharp. That's gaslighting. Don't believe your eyes and ears. You didn't see what you think you saw. You don't believe what you think you believed. The truth is this. Yeah, he had a bad night. He was tired. He had jet lag from a trip that he took a week earlier. They literally pulled that out. He was jet lagged from his European trip that he'd gotten home from a week earlier. That's gaslighting. Yep, everything that isn't Republican is socialism. That is true. Yeah, don't question it, because if you do, if you question it at all, you're a Trump supporter. No, 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 no. Never mind the fact that you say constantly that you hate Trump. You're a Trump supporter. Anybody else think Paul's a Trump supporter? So you guys think that Paul is a Trump supporter? This is like classic gaslight. You're not what you say you are. You're not what you believe you are. You are this. You're a Trump supporter. Bunch of people went and saw The Substance tonight. That's good. I know, right? You don't even believe that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I want to see The Substance, but I have to work overtime almost every day. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, Abs. Maybe you can catch it, you know, maybe you can catch it. Hopefully you can catch it. But if not, you can get it on VOD. It's not going to be like unwatchable. Ugh. What book does this sound like? Oceania is constantly at war with Eurasia. That sounds like Brave New World to me. No, kidding. That sounds like... War is peace. Bad is good, up is down. You learn any new words in Mandarin today? I did. Lao Po, wife. Lao Gong, husband. Baba, dad. Mama, mom. Ertzi, son. I can't remember daughter, but I did learn that one. Ertzi, son. You visiting China soon? No, I don't have any plans to visit China. Just picking up a language, learning Mandarin. Nope, not Cantonese, learning Mandarin. China is visiting us soon, you think? What are you using to learn Duolingo? We might all be visiting China in the not too distant future. Yeah, true. I worked overtime tonight so I could buy Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I'm so excited for that game. Yeah, it's gonna be dope. That's gonna be a dope ass game. I'm excited for it too. Dude, I just like, my nose is just not gonna stop running tonight. Ooh. How good is your Spanish? I mean, not great. It's okay. Más o menos. I took 2 years of Spanish, and I grew up in a Spanish-speaking area, so you know, I understand it better than I speak it. But I'm nominally conversational in Spanish, kinda ish, basically. Same for French, although less so in French. Less practice with French. I'm rapidly approaching a level of fluency in Mandarin that like rivals my other second languages, so I'm excited about that. And the chat just went. Engine just fucking died, bro. Nope. No, I have fucked around with Chat GPT a couple of times, but I'm not really into it. It's kind of funny, like, I'm a big defender of AI art and AI usage in general, but I don't use it very often, if at all, really. I don't really use it to make pictures, or it's just not that interesting to me. I've never been visually inclined in that way anyway. You know what I mean? Like, as an artist. So And like even the ones that aren't visual, like Suno, it doesn't really. I like writing songs on my own, but that doesn't mean that I'm not critical of the use of it. I just don't find fun with it. Now that I'm an accomplished MTG artist, can I debate you on your AI art takes? Sure. You want to jump on Discord? There's not gonna be anything like a debate here, but I'll jump on Discord if you want. We'll hook up through Discord and we can have a talk. I'm down with that. But yeah, probably not through text chat. All right, buddy. Give me a sec, because I don't have Discord on this phone. This is my throwaway phone. So just give me a sec. Won't take me long. I got 2 phones. One for the plug and one for the load. I got 2 phones. One for the bitches and one for the don't. Yeah. Boom. Discord auth code. Nope. All right, we got it. All right, so let's see. How am I going to get you hooked up here? How did we do it last time? I just have to, yeah, my shit is Paul's ego. Here, I'll pull that up, I guess, or try to. Yeah, there you go. That's me. So you add me and let me know what your name is, and I will add you back. So there you go. It's just Paul's ego. See? There you go. Well, you got to add me. So you add Paul's ego, and then let me know when you've done that. And I will add you back, and then I'll be that. And then I'll call you, and we'll talk. I'm down with that. So yeah, just let me know when you've added me. And my pronouns are cinema row. Do you need a moderator? No. Tyrone, no, we don't. This will be the debate to end all debates. It's not going to be a debate. We're just going to chat. Okay, Anthony Avon. Yes. Gotcha. Gotcha. Allow that. Skip that. All right, I'm calling you, bro. All right, hold up 1 second. Give me a sec. I just need to... Okay, there we go. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
I think I should mute your stream.
That's probably a good idea, yeah.
I hear you double.
Yeah. Okay, so tell everybody a little bit about yourself here at the start.
Just need a second to calm down a bit. Okay. a bit nervous.
No worries.
I'm Anthony. I live in Serbia. I'm an artist, soon starting for Magic the Gathering. I worked on Daggerheart, which is Critical Role's trading card game.
Yeah.
Tablecraft, for example, Cosmere RPG.
What's a magic card that you're the artist on that I could look up real quick and show people?
I literally just got the job.
Oh, nice. Okay,
on
cool.
Friday.
Well, congrats
It
then.
was. Thank you so much. It's been a wild journey to get there. Definitely a dream come true.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, that's like if you're a TCG guy. I mean, working for Wizards is like tip top, right?
Yeah, I discovered the game at 13 years old, and it pretty much sent me into this direction.
Yeah, that's about when I discovered it too, but probably I was 13, probably way earlier than you were, I would imagine. So I started I started playing I started to play Magic in 94. So
yeah, I was 4 years old at the time.
yeah.
So that's way back.
So yeah, but so don't worry about the nerves and stuff. I'm not looking to pwn anybody or make you feel bad or anything. We're just gonna have a talk, okay? If you're chill with that, yeah, you ain't gotta worry about it, man.
But this is one of those unreal moments where I've been a huge fan of yours for years and years.
Oh, well, cool. Well, thank you for that. That's cool, man. Thank you.
Among all the other stuff that's been going on with my career, this is nice.
Yeah.
As far as issues go, I come to you as one of my favorite commentators when it comes to worker rights.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm extremely passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Given that in Serbia I worked as low-wage exploited labor.
I imagine.
I started to work when I started my first job. I was being paid like $200 a month.
Right.
And when I got to 600, they basically told me, "You're never gonna get more than that. You're in this country. You're not worth any more than that." So I started freelance illustration career, and here I am.
That's awesome. That's going to give you a lot of opportunity, and I'm super happy for you. We have
the internet.
Yeah. Well,
so I can actually do this.
Where are we at cross purposes when it comes to AI stuff and art?
Well, to me, I think AI technology for art is completely based on theft and exploiting workers and potentially going towards devaluing our work, which already faces a lot of exploitation and not being valued enough, given that it's the concept artists and illustrators that create amazing art that makes billion-dollar franchises. For example, Alien. You love Alien. That's one of my favorite movies too.
Yeah.
The power of that franchise is because of an artist and because of a CEO at
Giger, right?
Yeah. So
also an Eastern European guy, right? Was he not? Or was he German?
He's German.
Oh, okay, he's German. Gotcha.
So I don't see how you don't have an issue with that part of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. No, I see what you're saying there. I guess I just look at it differently, but I'm not a visual artist, right? To me, it's a tool, right? It's a new tool, and I feel like the art community kind of freaks out every time there's a new way to make art that simplifies some process of it, right? So, for example, the DSLR camera, right? Digital photography was poo-pooed as garbagey, throwaway, non-art for the longest time. And now it's more popular as a photographic medium than film photography is, right? It's more accessible. So it's my contention, I guess, that we're kind of like folks that are in opposition to the tool that is generative AI are kind of in the same boat as people that opposed the film, like the moving film camera or just the camera in general, right? Think about pre-camera. In order to get a beautiful picture, you had to paint it. Well, now you can just point it at reality and hit a button, and it, you know, there were people that poo-pooed that art form. So, in your mind, is AI different from those kind of advancements in art?
I definitely think it's different,
Okay.
but and I kind of don't mind it. For example, I think previously when you argued for AI art, you've been kind of talking about people who say AI isn't art at all. I don't necessarily agree that it's not art. You can definitely create art. It's nothing new. Creating art with existing visual assets has been a thing.
Yeah.
So in that regard, it's not new. And I can definitely come up with ideas on how to use this as a tool.
Sure.
However,
I think a lot of people have already started to use it as a tool, right?
in our community, no.
No. Okay.
I work with dozens and dozens of artists, and we're all against that for other practical reasons.
Sure.
I don't want to delegate my artistic processes to anyone or anything, because while I'm doing sketches, I am practicing, coming up with ideas, keeping my mind active. When I'm doing rendering of details, I'm learning how to do that, developing my own style, which after years and years of experience, I might become very recognizable when it comes to the way I render stuff. For example,
Sure.
Wayne Reynolds is one of my favorite artists, and I can spot his artwork from a mile away because only he does colors and lines the way he does.
Understandable,
And when somebody
yeah.
tries to use his work as a reference, I immediately notice that.
Sure.
And that can happen to all of us, basically, because we come with our own inspirations, interests, experiences. We bring that into our art. And who knows, if you start your art career now, you have no idea what the end result will be. And that's why I want to do it.
Right.
It helps me practice. So because of that, AI is useless to me, and the way the pipeline works in illustration, again, I've seen how people use it. Again, companies I work for are against that right now. And I just go back to this being very exploitative technology based
Sure.
on theft. And I fear that it will only be used to tell us, very hardworking and deserving workers, that, hey, you no longer deserve to make a living doing this. And we're already struggling. Trust me, the money in this, well, it could be better.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, the starving artist has been a trope for a long time, right? I mean, most artists aren't properly compensated for their work, and that's just I think it's always been true, right?
The smaller the company, some of my smaller clients, I have nothing to say against what they're paying me. They're absolutely generous and understanding. I have so much luck with my clients. But the bigger the company is, the prices go down, actually.
Sure.
And we all fear that one day when, after some experience, I come to a manager or whoever to say, hey, can we maybe do a little bit better on these rates? They might go, well, AI can do what you do. We keep you just, or, you know, whatever. So no, you cannot get a raise. You cannot meet the rising cost of living. Because we stole all of your assets and now we're keeping you down with them.
So
That's
you're
anti-work.
so you're talking about, so is your concern, your primary concern with this, that it is going to be, it's so these algorithms are going to take your art and
Yes.
incorporate it into a new piece of art, or incorporate your specific style, your artist's hand, into a piece of art that you have nothing to do with, and
well, more famous artists have already struggled with that. Some artists, when you Google their name, most searches are AI results, so they're potentially losing out. It's definitely identity theft for some more established artists. I think if you, I mean, give a long example and say why it should also apply to what I do. So if you created the most original, unique, special, never before heard music album, let's say it's progressive rock in terms of genre,
sure,
but you made the vocals sound suspiciously like Michael Jackson, you would get a call from a lawyer because for obvious reasons
that
that's not.
lawyer, it would be tough. So how do you feel about like an artist like Girl Talk? I don't know if you've ever heard of this artist. They're a DJ, right? That's mostly
I
known.
haven't.
They're mostly known for making mashups, live mashups, where they literally take Michael Jackson's voice at a different speed, then put his voice over a different track, right? And they've sold millions and millions of albums doing this. Do you see a functional difference?
If it passed through the legal, you know,
Well, like this, so like hip hop is an interesting genre, right? Because it was legally challenged almost immediately. Because in its nascent form, hip hop took other sounds, other people's work, and sped it up or mix and matched it on the turntables, right? To create a new
Yeah.
sound. And
Yeah.
there was a lot of legal challenges in the early nascent days of hip hop, you know, for these artists claiming like, hey, you know, Vanilla Ice just took the bass line from Under Pressure
Yeah.
and rapped over it, and we didn't get a dime off of that, right? And there were all these lawsuits, and it's pretty settled as far as the entertainment industry. Fair use trumps everything, right? So if I take your art and I deconstruct it and I use elements of it to create a new piece of art, you're not entitled.
That would be fine.
You're not
That would
entitled
be fine.
legally to any compensation from the court's perspective.
So far, in examples where artists who do illustration like I do,
Sure.
who have actually taken other people's art, cut it up and put it into theirs,
Sure.
have been fired, have been sued. It did not go well. You cannot literally take a piece of my art and put it into yours in that way.
Well,
It's-
you're talking about two different types of creation. You're talking about commercial art, right? You're talking about working artists that are making art for a company,
Yeah.
right? I'm talking about somebody that just wants to make a piece of art, and they take the head of something that you created, they cut it up, they draw over it, they make this sloppy piece of street art out of it, and they put it out there, right? That's the type of creation that I think would be stifled if we listened to commercial artists about what kind of tools should be allowed to be used.
You can use AI as a tool, but okay, the best example is just where it goes wrong is where art isn't transformative. It's made to imitate artists completely and confuse buyers, clients, where there is no such transformation as example you gave with rap music and sampling. We all know that's been done in music, but here I'm talking about artwork that looks almost exactly like the original artist's work,
Right.
and it's being spammed in numbers that an original artist cannot compete with. That fake artwork is basically burying his actual work
Okay.
in the algorithm. He's losing work. Some people's art style is so recognizable, and some people might just want to create something that looks exactly like that and take it for free and exploit it.
Well, like in my mind, right? If they want to be unoriginal, they have the right to be unoriginal. I mean, if they teach themselves to draw like you, and they're creating that, like, yeah, they're probably not going to get hired at Wizards of the Coast because they're going to look at that art and say, oh, that's derivative. But there might be other ways that they could monetize that type of artwork. Maybe as a tattoo artist, maybe doing designs for tattoos, using a specific style that, you know what I mean? Like, there are all these little pockets of art and money, like art as money, that would be completely shut down if everybody's art style was monetizable and copyrightable. Like, your art, I get that. You paint something, nobody should be able to just like take that whole cloth and sell it, right? But by the same token, if somebody creates a piece of art that looks like something that you could have painted and sells it, I don't know what your argument would be against that.
I have arguments for why you're better off learning to create your own work, especially because if you really want to make it transformative and use AI as a tool, you need to have a lot of actual knowledge to create your artwork, at which point a lot of us say, I don't really need this technology. But again, generating ideas for tools, I guess it's okay. You're talking about these very transformative examples, which I agree are transformative and are okay. But again, the issues is people have stolen work, are profiting from it. Companies who create these AI models, all of that is directly anti-worker. If you want to express your creativity with this technology, I really cannot stop you. I would have a few favors to ask. For example, not spamming that artwork on professional portfolio websites where art directors look for artists to hire. So please don't spam AI art.
Well, I mean, that stuff's not passing muster anyway, right? Like, nobody's getting fooled at the higher levels by AI art at this point, right?
No, they're not. But for example, all of my jobs that I ever had, I was discovered by an art director.
Sure.
They were looking through artwork, and they saw my work. They hired me. All of my big projects, even Magic the Gathering, Lego, everything I've worked on, I got discovered by art directors scrolling through ArtStation and looking for art they like, so they can employ us. Now they have to go to, if this isn't regulated on that website, they need to, they know it's AI, but they need to scroll for hours to get past all that useless stuff.
Well, I mean, I think it's incumbent on this ArtStation website to like come up with a filter, because there are already like generative AI detectors, right? Just have that worked into your upload process so that like after somebody uploads an image, it goes through the screening process that identifies it as AI generated art and rejects it, so that nobody's, like any open forum like that, it's going to be contingent on the people that own it to moderate that content. There are always going to be people spamming, stealing other people's artwork, you know.
We really had to fight for it, and the website kind of didn't take our side. I don't know why.
Well, that sucks. I mean, maybe it's time for you guys as artists to get together and create another website that has that feature that is
That
more
website
fair to
is
artists.
currently called Kara,
Okay.
or Kara,
Yeah.
depending on how it's pronounced. That's a website we all kind of went to try to get away from the spam, basically. So, for example, that was initially one of my biggest asks of people who want to use this tool just to generate images. Please keep it to open platforms like Instagram, Twitter, where you can post, have your own stuff.
So what about?
But
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what about blended? What about blended media? So what if you're a caricature, or not a caricature, a character artist or a portrait artist? You don't do background or landscape work, right? But you want to give dimension to your art, and so you use a generative AI tool to create a lava mountain landscape behind your big badass warrior dude. Like, is that a no-go?
For your personal work?
Well, I'm talking
Of
about
course,
just
it's
in
a no.
general, right? Like, at what point do you think these companies are going to start accepting these blended forms of the medium? He created this wonderful character art. He's not a landscape artist, so he created this, this background. But do we not let him upload his art to our platform because it's blended media, right? Mixed media.
Again, that's more difficult to decide because it is blended, but it's an example that doesn't really happen. For example, I'm a landscape artist. I'm better at backgrounds, and I'm currently struggling with a character in the painting. But yeah, I'm better off actually learning how to paint that character instead of being like, okay, I've painted this entire city and the palace and all these details, but let the AI finish the character. I'm better off actually learning how to do it on my own.
What would you This is kind of maybe it might be a bit of a non sequitur, but it's interesting to me because you're a working artist, and I think it's related. What would you be painting if money was not an object for you? Like, what would you be working on? What would you create if you didn't have to worry about the monetary viability of your art?
Well, I am very, very fortunate to get to work on what I really love.
Right.
So my day-to-day would not change a lot.
That's commendable, right?
If you look up my portfolio, it's really, really what I love to do. Landscapes. I would, of course, shift towards developing something. A lot of my portfolio is art that I create for projects that I'm involved with. Of course, if I had the money, I could just create art. Some of it would still be for those projects. Again, I have such amazing teams. Fieldcraft, for example, they basically bought a bunch of my fan art that I created. Being inspired by the rest of the team because I painted landscapes for the game, and other people were working on these really interesting creature designs, and I wanted to do some of my own. I had ideas, so I sketched them up, and the team was like, "This is amazing. We want it for the game. Here's the money. Just finish the artwork, and it's in the game."
That's great.
So,
No, that's awesome.
I'm very lucky that my portfolio would be 90% the same if I didn't have to worry about the money. So
Yeah.
for now, I consider that a huge privilege.
You know, I have a blind spot, and I'm willing to admit it, when it comes to art and capitalism and the intersection there, right? For me, and I know this sounds rote and it's easy to say this, right? But I'm an artist as well, right? My art is performance, and like right now, I could monetize the ever living shit out of what I'm doing with you right now, right? I could have super chats flowing up here. I could have, all these things that are available to me. I choose not to do that, right? Because it colors the art form for me. And so for me, when you start trying to make sense out of art in the context of money, you end up with these unanswerable questions, like the mixed media question, right? Like the what level, because like I don't know how much you understand about AI art creation, but the people that make actually compelling pieces of visual AI art often spend weeks and weeks iterating that art until it looks specifically how they want. It's an art form called prompting that you'll know about. It'll be considered a legitimate art form in 10 years. The use of these tools to not just like type in Mickey Mouse fucking a pumpkin, you know what I mean, and then post whatever the first thing it spits out, but literally iterate for hours and days and weeks, right? Using different prompts and knowing how to manipulate those prompts to manipulate the image. It's hard for me to hear arguments that it's not a legitimate art form. I mean, the difference between a piece of AI art created by a legitimate high-level prompter and somebody who just sat down at ChatGPT and typed in, like, make me a art, right, is fucking huge. So the argument in my mind that these people aren't artists is shrinking by the day. Because I don't think either you or I could work in the medium and create a piece of compelling AI art that would rival some of the top people that are actually taking it seriously as an art form.
Well, and I will not argue against that if it really is. I haven't seen it. I mostly deal with a lot of spam. If
Sure.
you've been on Twitter, you might have crossed what looks like very illegal AI art.
Sure.
With no moderation, it's really easy to.
Of course, there are always going to be people misusing.
I don't know why that's not regulated. Who's creating these models? That's such a huge concern.
Of course, yeah, and it almost certainly.
Talking about.
I'm sorry to interrupt. It almost certainly will be regulated in the near future. Almost certainly, to a certain extent, right?
And just like I still have a career, while there are people who use, for example, do you know what photo bashing is?
No.
Yeah. So that was something that I was against when my career was just starting out. It was really popular. People were using photos and making collages, doing a little bit of overpaint, and you would get absolutely high detailed, realistic looking images in a matter of hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feared that I'll be forced into
using AI.
That kind of being forced into doing photo bashing as like the only viable option in the industry. Thankfully, I was wrong. I managed to do illustration the way I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's why I say to my colleagues as well, like, well, we already had art created with existing visual assets. So AI is not even new. So if photo bashing is okay, using photo textures to enhance, for example, in a couple of my illustrations, I deliberately wanted certain textures to look exactly like they're photoreal. So despite being able to paint certain textures, I wanted those textures to look photoreal. So I basically used the photo, overlaid it over the image.
Yeah.
That's completely optional. So that's why AI isn't very new to me, and I'm not against it. I don't make the argument that art cannot be created with it. That's why I go back to the basic issue of assets being stolen and workers being exploited, and kind of fearing what will be the end result of that.
Yeah.
But just like I still have a career as an illustrator while photo bashing exists, I am pretty sure I'll have a career while AI prompting exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it really is that level of skill, and it takes so
It does.
such a
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
to actually.
So and of course the more complex the piece of art that's being created, the more specific a prompter has to be, right? And so and the more knowledgeable they have to be at how to manipulate the tool in its current iteration to create the effect. So it's really visible now in people that are creating moving AI art. So, like the nascent kind of movie visual creation tools, I think one of them is called Sora. That if you look into some of the pieces of art that are being created with that, it'll blow your fucking mind. But if you were to sit down with Sora, it's going to create some skibbity looking shit that, you know what I mean? Like it's obviously not right. You have to make it right. And as it stands right now, the people that can really do that are making some insane stuff. And so for me, it's a new tool. You know, I look at it functionally no differently than I look at any other revolution in artistic history. You know what I mean? You start with cave art, talking about uses of charcoals and insect pigments on the wall applied with your fingers, right? And then somebody figured out how to bundle animal hair, like oxtail hair or something, together. And there was a new art form that swept because you were able to create these, you know, these brush strokes that more closely mimicked reality. And then, you know, you fast forward to the Dadaist movement. You've got this very stodgy idea of what art is. It is either realism or existentialism or surrealism, right? And then Dadaism comes along and says, no, this is a toilet hung upside down. That's art. It, you know, spills water all over the fucking ground. And so, like, for me, these tools come along, art forms change. You are more than likely for the rest of your life going to be able to monetize your ability. I don't see people like you that are actually functioning at a high level in the commodity art world being put out of business by it anytime soon. I do see a lot of, like, you know, and I shit on these people sometimes, but I'm not trying to shit on them. A lot of derivative, shitty art is really probably not going to be all that monetizable anymore. And I'm talking about people that draw people's personas. You know what I mean? Where it's just like a dime a dozen.
I have to fight you on that a little bit.
All right, yeah, well, fight me.
So, I have to have a bad, generic, I'm going through a phase art in order to get to anything good. I've worked as a furry artist, I guess, and those people, first of all, amazing clients, all of them, very generous, very nice.
Sure.
All of them came to me for exactly what I was painting. I offered, hey, give me your persona, I'll put it into an amazing landscape.
Sure.
That's how I marketed it. And all of that, there was some bad stuff. The first thing I did when I got the Magic the Gathering job is that I sent a message to my friend who we became friends when he was commissioning me on For Affinity. And hey man, like thanks for buying my shitty art. That made it possible for me to now work on all the dream projects that I ever had. So I really fear for people who want to do this.
Right.
They will lose those opportunities to be bad, to work on very cheap commissions. I worked on full illustrations for $50 when I started out.
Sure.
But first of all, in Serbia, that put food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all the experience that I needed to get to this level.
Right.
It was all giving me hope that I can have this as a career.
Yeah.
I don't want people to just have this wall now in front of them and being.
But they will. But they will. Silent films, right? It was an art form that is now completely and utterly useless. People don't even train in it anymore because it was a very expressive acting form that was based on the face, right? When sound was added to movies, those people just lost their jobs. Nobody wanted them anymore. Nobody needed them anymore. And it sucks. But that's being an artist. Had those people not dedicated themselves, because what's the movie that I'm thinking of? There's a movie about an old Silver Age silent film star that's trying to make another silent movie, but it's well past the era in which anybody cares to see a silent film, right? And I look at a lot of art forms in that very same way. Well, the artist is I'm thinking of an older movie. I can't remember the name of the lady that's in it. I'll figure it out one day because I reference it a lot, but I can never fucking name it. It's an older movie. But the point being is, yeah, a lot of people that are drawing fur affinity art are probably going to starve. If they decide that, like, all I'm going to do is keep drawing fur affinity art and hope people buy it, yeah, they're going to starve. Because there's a new tool. There's a new tool to make that now. I don't need to pay $50 to a dude to do it. I can pay, $10 a month to an AI company to get the full access to their AI model, and I can just make whatever fur thing I want. And I'm sorry that exists, but those artists are not going to get any money in their pocket by refusing to change with the times.
Well, what can they even change at that point?
Learn how to prompt. Expand your art beyond something that you can get a dime a dozen, right? Yeah. Sorry. I mean, yeah, a lot of people are not going to get to do that anymore in that specific way because they're just trying to do it the same way. But there's a new tool in town that allows people to do it for free. And you're not going to change up your art form. You're not going to change up what you're doing. You're not going to be able to monetize it. You can still do it for joy, for the sheer love of creation. And I'm sure there will always be forums for people that love hand-drawn furry art. But the truth of the matter is, the era in which you can make that low-level derivative art and make $50 on it is coming to an end. You need to get on the new derivative art. You know what I mean? If you want to blend art and money, these are the kinds of ugly things you have to deal with. It just is. You have to make what people want. If you're not making what people want, you're fucked. Have fun making it. Enjoy the process. That's why when you're I'm very, maybe I've got a blind spot on this for art, but it's just, you're not going to put the genie back in the bottle. There's not going to be some giant uprising against these AI tools. So learn it or fall behind. I don't know. It's the same thing for me, right? If somebody comes out and changes what I do fundamentally, and there's you got to do it now, and I choose not to do it, I'm probably not going to make a lot of money doing this anymore. You know?
Well, as with a lot of issues we're facing these days, I don't know if it can be stopped, but yeah, essentially that's what we are bad at.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for being
Uh,
angry at it. It's the end of an era and the beginning of a new one.
we don't mind competition. We're constantly competing with the rest of the industry, especially for example, what was in my head all these years, going after Magic the Gathering as a job.
Yeah.
So let's say right now artists are showing the newest artwork for the newest set, and every time that happens, it's always something new and exciting and looking amazing. But then you actually remember that that artwork is at least like a year or 2 years old, because it gets painted and is kept under NDA until the cards get printed and officially announced.
Right.
So you're at least 2 years behind the best artwork being created. So that trying to compete with that is very difficult, but
Yeah.
we still take on that challenge. But competing with a machine learning on our stolen material, we create those assets that train AI to be better and faster.
I can't let you get away with calling it stolen, bro.
Well,
It's not stolen.
taken without permission by a company for their own profits. So
No. It's not
how would you
taken.
define it?
It's not taken. You made it available.
No,
No?
I haven't. Your car being parked in front of your house is not just available to be taken away. It's in front of your house, but it's not available.
But I don't
to
share my
broadcast to your neighborhood.
I don't share my car with millions of people. I don't make my car available for free to anybody who wants to view it.
If they
My car is my
across your
car.
they can look at it.
No, they can't. Come look at my car. You can't see my car. It's my car.
Perhaps it's parked in the street. I see it, but
It's
I
not.
don't take parts of it.
I put it in the
Don't try to make
garage,
profit.
bro. I put it in the garage. Okay. I hide my art away. You can't see it. You can't steal my art. I'm sorry. I'm a
I guess
pothead.
I can create some. That's where we're very different in that regard. I've never been high or drunk.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting. You've been having a whole conversation about the nature of art with somebody who is way stoned, So
And I'm way nervous.
you shouldn't be. You're doing great. I mean, like, look, dude, there's nobody's right or wrong in this conversation. I've thought about this a lot. I really have. And my takes are just what I think is correct. The whole theft thing, you're saying they're stealing it when they use it to train their AIs, but they're not specifically targeting you. They're not going like, get that guy's art and let's steal it. They're scraping.
They're just taking everything.
Yeah, they're taking everything, just like a normal artist does, by the way, right? Your average artist isn't born in a vacuum. You had influences as an artist, I'm assuming. You named a couple of them.
That's true.
Right?
Sure.
And so the way that your art looks is probably based on a lot of work that those people did, right?
That's true.
And I don't see how it's any different for, these companies to have a tool learn from the widely available art that's out there and create something new with it. I don't know.
Some would say it's obviously different, because it cannot be compared taking every image available on the internet and my very limited human experience. You either see a difference in that or you don't. So
Yeah.
it's absolutely true that I can show you in my portfolio. There's 2 years ago I did 100 days every day without skipping a day. I did a study of a master painting. That studies directly copying a painting. You do it loosely. You take a couple of hours to just capture the essence of the painting. So yeah, you can definitely, you have the record of what I'm learning from and what inspires me, but that being filtered through my human brain and a machine, definitely different.
Yeah. I understand. I understand what you're saying. And, you know, it's definitely, I've heard there are echoes in my mind, right, of different art movements that I have observed in my lifetime, where I remember Pro Tools and Fruity Loops being considered like the lamest fucking shit that you could possibly use as an artist. You're gonna auto-tune yourself. You're gonna use these programs that just have these sampled drums, and you're gonna use these fucking. It makes it so easy to make a sound, dude. The old way of cutting samples out and live recording and mixing and stuff, that's the real art, man. And this Pro Tools, Fruity Loops shit is bullshit. Now, try and get popular as an artist in the music industry without using one of those tools. Photoshop. Oh, dude, Photoshop is just an excuse for fucking photographers that don't know how to set their settings right, aren't on the right equipment. It allows people to cheat. If they take a shitty picture, they can underexpose and use it's not real art, man. That's Photoshop slop. Now try being a fucking photographer that doesn't clean up their photos with Photoshop. You're on the cusp.
But ultimately, don't we all enjoy a live, real, non-auto-tuned performance from our artists? Don't we respect people who actually perform their music more than just
but I think that you're
very artificial.
Your contention that these people that make this type of digital music don't perform their music, you know, I don't know. Have you ever been to an EDM show? I mean, it's electric. It's electric, bro. I mean, it's literally electric. It's like a tingle goes through your whole body. It's an audio-visual feast. It's something that you can't experience just putting on the right? It's the energy of the crowd, the lasers, the big giant speaker stack, the big fucking LED display. You know, by the way, a lot of visual artists and stagecraft artists plied their trade to make that happen, right? So it's another monetizable form of art that had a ton of artists put their hands into it to make this utterly unique experience, right? And so this idea that they're just making trash, easy, fucking shitty music, you sit down at Fruity Loops and pump out a banger. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do it. And neither could I. You know, there's a genuine skill to it. And it's a new style of art. It's a new medium of art that has been broadly accepted and will continue to be broadly accepted. And the way that artists make music has changed as a result of it. And the way that photographers make photography has changed as a result of it. And those that have decided to stay behind and do it the old way, there's still a market for that. But it's very slim.
Yeah.
It's very slim. Very slim. The people that are making big money are using Pro Tools, they're using fucking FL Studio, they're using Photoshop, they're using every available tool to make the sharpest piece of modern art, the most monetizable piece of art. And I think that people in your position are probably going to have to do the same. It sucks. I'm sorry for that. It really is kind of the death of an era, right? But I think that the people that are most successful in your group of artists are going to be the people that embrace this tool and learn how to combine it with their art. And the people that dig their heels in are probably going to be people that don't continue to be all that successful. That's just the way it goes. You know, art as commodity is a brutal fucking thing. Brutal. Always has been. You know, you had people locked up in their fucking attics painting shit they didn't care about for patrons, right? Talking like Dutch artists in the 1600s and shit. Who's the guy that did the girl with the pearl earring? Vanderbeek or Vandermeer?
Vermeer?
Who is it?
Vermeer. Oh,
Vermeer.
have
Yeah,
you
yeah.
seen? It's like a documentary. James Vermeer. It's called. It's this guy who isn't an artist, and that's the most interesting part of it. He absolutely never painted, but he figured out that Vermeer and possibly many other artists used certain technology to basically project the image onto a canvas.
Yeah.
paint over it.
If you watch the movie The Girl with the Pearl Earring, he uses it. It's called a camera obscura.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he would paint a small panel and put it upside down in this mirror lens device so that he could place the painting on the canvas and compare it with his work back and forth as he went. Yeah. This was a new tool that was used. And it allowed Vermeer to create these incredibly warm, beautiful, I mean, you know Vermeer's style. I couldn't remember his name, but the style of his paintings is just instantly recognizable, like you mentioned earlier, right? There's a warmth to Vermeer and the light that he used that was instantly recognizable. But
And the precision of it, the amount of detail, absolutely incredible. And yeah, that's definitely an example where technology meets art. Vermeer still, if he did that, first of all, he still needed to put in a lot of work into
of course.
one painting. Then he needed to know how to compose this image.
Yes.
He needed to pick the subject matter, have an idea for it.
But Vermeer is a good example as well, because there was another collision: art, technology, and commodity. Vermeer was a guy whose entire existence was based on a few rich patrons that paid him to paint whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
Right? And so Vermeer wasn't really allowed to choose his subject matter. Right? Ever. Not really. And so he's a perfect example in this conversation of an artist that is now considered to be one of the great masters, right? That embraced the brand new technology that would have you know what a camera obscura became, right? It became a camera. This was the very first camera, and he had one, and he used it extensively, and it made his paintings stand out from other people, right? And I think that you're at the cusp in your art form of having this brand new tool that everybody thinks is fucking, you know, I'm sure that there were people in the art community that poo-pooed use of the camera obscura. Oh, it takes away the art. It puts the eye, takes the eye of the artist and puts it in the eye of the machine. You know what I mean? I'm sure there was that. But
depending on what you're valuing, yes, it's when you look at the Vermeer painting and you imagine him just looking at a scene and then painting it, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I, as a working artist, cannot imagine just looking at the scene and just drawing what I see with that level of detail and precision. That's inhuman. Basically.
Yeah.
So that's why I really buy into, there was technology involved. But with AI, there's just this little, even though the arguments seem similar, the specifics of it bring it just over the edge. So it feels like, well, it's too much now. Too much has been taken away from what the artist actually did. Again, based on the specifics.
Yeah.
A lot of what I imagined being done with AI crosses that boundary into, well, it's no longer you. You really delegated so much to automation.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
again, if you're really good at creating art with AI, you must know a lot of what I know to create art. You need to understand these basics
yeah.
of composition, color, to recognize what's good.
You'll
So
see
you can
if
keep
you
prompting
were
or keep it.
if you were to embrace this new art form, you would have a leg up on a person like me who's goes like, "Ooh, I want to learn to make art with this thing." You've got years and years and years worth of training that I can't catch up with. So that's why I'm saying your thought process on this is something you might want to consider carefully. Because like I said, you're absolutely correct. The people that make AI art at the high level, these really great prompters, right? They are not doing it as a lay person to art theory, right? They know color theory, they know depth of field, they know all of these things, and they prompt the AI to create that vision. You need that basis still. So that's why my argument that this is just a new tool for artists sticks. Because my dumbass, I'm not a visual artist. I don't know depth of field. I don't know color theory. I don't know that shit. I've studied. I took an art history class in college, and that was the extent, right? So I'm not going to be able to sit down without learning the shit that you know as a visual artist to even sit down at these tools and create it. There's no skip for it. If you just sit down and put in one prompt, it's going to turn out garbage that looks like AI garbage. If you sit down and refine a single iteration, you iterate on a single idea 10,000 times until it gets visually perfect, exactly how you want it to be, that's a whole different ball of wax and requires a whole different skill set, right?
Well, depending on how long it takes, it might be what actually drove me away from even pursuing photo bashing as something that I do on the side, because I remember starting a painting that was supposed to be done with photos.
Yeah.
Basically, I sketched out the composition, and I found myself just Googling for images, trying to find something that matches my vision. And of course, it was difficult. I barely found anything that came close to what I was imagining. So I was like, this is boring. This is not me even doing this. I'd rather go back to creating very bad looking version of what I imagined with my own hands and trying to learn and add that tool later. Like, I have an image here that I'm working on. Most of it is rendered. I spent hours and hours painting little bricks on the silly wall. I could have done that with photo texture. I could have done that with AI.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to do it on my own because I know that at the end of this artistic journey, my bricks will look, or some other element of my paintings will look different than maybe anyone who's ever painted that subject matter, or I'll become really good at it.
Sure.
In a way
That's also
just
there are people that do that, right? They just refine something down to the gnat's ass to the point where they can make something that, AI can't really compete with because it's just so photorealistic or so perfect. That's definitely a road that you can go. But I do think that you're going to be at a detriment when it comes to just the ability of you to output, like when it comes to a commodity. Once again, we're talking about art as commodity. The people that use AI to make those bricks are going to be able to make that painting. The turnaround on that's going to be quicker, right?
Oh, sure. And I cannot lie to anyone. And everyone would say the same thing at the point where it's either AI is a tool or we just don't have this career. We will probably be forced into it. But there are reasons why we even if it was completely ethical, all the artists were compensated for the artwork being taken from art stations, deviant art profiles. It was all perfectly maintained. With a lot of us still like to just do the work because we know the benefits of doing the sketches, doing the rendering, and what we gain out of it. Because we had always the option to take the shortcut.
Sure.
For as long as I've been working this job, those shortcuts existed, and some of us just decided
not to.
Hey, yeah.
That's a, well, that, and see that, and that's a
we'll
good.
Be forced.
And that's a good thing too. Like, here's the thing, bro. In a broader perspective, from like, and this is just my opinion. Obviously, I'm not stating fact. People like you in the art community who resist the onslaught of technology are an important part of the development of art forms, right? Because you're going to be pushed to do things you haven't thought about in order to do that, right? Right now, you have an early idea of how you're going to have to dedicate yourself to creating these things that you could easily just automate. And that is going to become different as this tool becomes more expansive. And so you, functionally, in resisting it, are pushing the art form still. I don't know that it's necessarily going to do the best for your wallet, but once again, art and commodity, I don't make excuses for that. I'm not a capitalist. I just have to live in a capitalist nation. So in a perfect world, your art wouldn't, you could create whatever the fuck you wanted just for the joy of it, right? That's the perfect world.
Again, I feel like I'm so lucky that this is still viable. I like to encourage younger artists in age or experience to keep doing what they're doing. It's worth it. What will happen in the future, we have no idea.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about. What concerns you, it concerns me as well. Politically, you and I are completely on the same page. So, you know that we share a lot of concerns, and this is just one of them. Where through all of that, will I even be able to put food on the table? Because getting to this where I am now took a lot of sacrifices, a lot of investments, a lot of
I will tell you this:
15-hour work days and stuff like that. And now, if this is just taken away from me through a bit of that unethical, not real competition, but hey, a machine took it. It's gonna be. I don't know what to do at that point.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's pretty much a life destroyed at that point.
Well, I think you could see it that way. Or, and you're just, this is another perspective thing. I know what it's like to have your life reduced to nothing, or as close to nothing as you can get. I know what it's like to have something snatched away, something that you love, right? So my joy is performance, right?
Yeah.
You try and make money doing it, right? Prior to the internet, try and be and really just like a specific type of performance. I'm a stage actor, right? I didn't want to be a movie star. I didn't want to be a voice actor. I didn't want to be a movie maker, right? I wanted to be a cog in a production. I wanted to be an actor on the stage. And there is no way to make money for that. So I spent 16 years of my life working shit jobs barely getting to apply my art at all. It was a functional dead zone in my life, right? And then at the very end of that, with very little outlet for expression, everything else fell out of my life. The bottom fell out. My marriage ended. I lost my home, my job, my money, whatever money I had was, right? And it ended up being the greatest thing that ever happened to me because it opened a door. And so the doom and gloom mindset, and I'm not, I don't mean this to be condescending. I sense the fear when I talk to people about this that comes from artists, right? I sense it. And dude,
We are afraid.
fear is the mind killer, bro.
Oh yeah.
It's the little death that brings total obliteration. And if you're paralyzed by your fear of something new, other people are going to lap you, you know? You have to be willing. You have to be willing to explode your expectations for your life. Because just getting to do what you love for a moment is a brilliant shining diamond in the human experience. And
I check my privilege on that on a daily basis.
Right.
Like the freedoms that I do have, knowing where I came from and what I've achieved, like I don't take that for granted for a second. And yeah, I know if it all goes away, I still am in the top percentages of lucky people in this world.
yeah,
And yeah, absolutely, I am terrified. Some people give very good arguments for why, no, this will never replace what we do. Maybe they're too optimistic because, after all, if this is really AI, if it's really what we imagine in science fiction, a machine that thinks you can talk to it the way you can talk to me,
mm-hmm.
and tell it, this is what I need, this is the image, the design that I need. Currently,
What if it collaborates?
Someday it might.
What if it collaborates with you? Like, what if it's seen as a collaborative part of your artistic process, right? So, like,
if it does become real AI, that I don't think is there yet. I think.
Well, we don't have it yet. I do think it's there. I just don't think we have access.
Yeah. No way of knowing that, but yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's my assumption.
There's
my assumption is that they've got 3 or 4 generations ahead of what they're letting us tinker with.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe they're giving us the top secret shit. I don't know. I doubt it.
You're definitely not wrong to think, hey, isn't it weird that the first time they had this technology, they just let any schmuck use it?
Yeah, no.
You're absolutely correct in thinking they might have the real thing locked up.
Yeah. And maybe what we're playing with is connected nodally to it. Maybe it's fed by a much grander digital intelligence than we are given. We're just given access to this little compartmentalized tendril. But the big mother brain is fucking crazy, right? That very well could be the case. I don't know. But so this upcoming year, 2025, the guys and I are really, really planning on getting to Europe. And I am pushing super hard for an Eastern European meetup. I'm pushing super hard for a Poland, like Warsaw. I don't know how easy it would be for you to get to that. Or on the other end of it, Prague. Those are the 2 cities that I'm really trying to fucking ride or die for. And it would be super cool to meet you. It would be super neat if, you were able to hop a train and come see us.
Those are places to visit. And I know you've been, I don't know how serious you've been about moving to another part of the world. I would say Serbia could be on your list because your money will take you a long way here.
Yeah,
and
I
still
mean,
give you a lot of what you know and love about Serbia when you have the money is, I have family in Canada, and I go there, visit, I stay there for 2 or 3 months,
mhm.
come back here, it's pretty much the same. Some specific, things if you really want a video arcade or something. Yeah, we don't have that in Serbia, but the rest of it, the modern life, yeah, we do. And the burgers, man. Oh, based on your recommendations,
Yeah.
I went to McDonald's because
Okay.
you specifically said, yeah, it's shitty food, but it's engineered to be tasty.
Yeah, it is.
Bro,
Nah.
no. A random burger place in my street that just doesn't even sell burgers as like their main thing. Like, that's a burger, man. And
Well,
you've been talking about burgers. So
I'm
many
telling
times,
you.
I just wanted to be like, man, you gotta try a Serbian burger.
I look, dude. We're brain broken here in the United States. Okay, we grew up eating this shit, and it's garbage. But we will evangelize it. You can't talk us out of it, you know. But yeah.
I was ready to eat it. Like, I'm gonna eat something that's bad for me, but it's going to taste
Good.
so good, and
It was
none
garbage.
of it.
Damn. Wow.
Fries were terrible.
You got to ask yourself, like,
meat at all.
you got to ask yourself, how does it stay in business? You know, who's going there?
I have no idea. I do fear that you do not just know that there are better options. Maybe McDonald's tastes well if that's all you've tried, and the similar types of that fast food. But
well, I've
I
heard.
would so love to take you out for a dinner here.
Well, let's do it then. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm moving to Serbia. Get ready. I'm coming. No, I don't know. One of the reasons I want to travel to Europe is to check it out and see if I could even picture myself living abroad, even if it's not like permanent, you know, because with a place like Serbia, I don't know what kind of visa arrangement I would have to own. I don't know how Serbia is about private ownership of property by a non-citizen, right? But like an option for me would be if my money goes a long way in Serbia to buy like a little house out in the wilderness somewhere that's got what I want and need, and just be there 6 months out of the year. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Look, man, if you're just trying to think, let me describe what I'm getting for. I don't even know how much my rent is. It's not even $400. Let's say $400. So my room, living room with a kitchen.
Yeah.
One more smaller room, a balcony, a bathroom, and a separate a toilet, and a big hallway connecting all of that. That's $400.
Yeah.
Now prices have gone up since we got a lot of migrants from Russia.
Yeah. What about land prices and stuff there? Is it pretty ridiculous, or is it similarly cheap to just buy like a piece of land, put a house on it?
If you're thinking about going somewhere, it's a village close to nature, far away from everything, it's probably dirt cheap.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it would just need to be
ridiculous.
It would need to be a place where I could get high-speed internet. It would need to be that's the only limiting thing. In order to do my job, I'd have to have internet that works.
But I think in some cases you would be able to just afford to buy a house.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just
probably the money that you do have available to you, and still have access to everything. My 80-something-year-old grandma lives in a village, in a 131-year-old house.
Damn.
Made out of basically dirt.
Yeah, like bricks. Yeah,
If
it had to
people
be.
just, yeah. And she has full speed internet. She's on Google all the time. She's embracing technology. So
Hey,
this country is so interesting because I follow American politics and I try to learn from that. And in some ways, it doesn't even apply in this country. And in some ways, for example, I am now currently warning my mom, like, hey, mom, even if this regime gets changed, don't get your hopes up.
yeah.
Like, can I get into politics a little bit with you?
If you want, yeah.
For example, you now see certain well-intentioned people cheering and clapping for what they were calling fascist a few years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So that to me is incomprehensible, and I feel like current issue here is lithium.
Lithium.
There's a company wants to come here and dig for lithium, which will devastate the environment.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, what if all these people who are against it are cheering for it just a few years in the future, because we also have a boogeyman figure who is always doing something evil, and we just need to get rid of him. If only he's gone, then everything will be just fine.
The rotating villain.
And, yeah, and I'm like, my mom is really into politics these days. I'm like, Mom, if other countries' experiences are anything to go by, like, don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
This one replacement is not going to change much. And yeah, it all adds to this fear of everything is going bad, and will we see any solutions? Will we even get to keep our careers? Scary times.
Probably
Scary
not.
times.
Probably not, bud.
Probably not.
It's okay though. It's okay. You gotta look. Be like water, you know. Conform, conform to your environment to the best that you can, and enjoy your life the best you can.
Currently, I'm processing these good news right now that I achieved. The dream
Soak it up,
goal,
bud. Soak it up.
and like then start figuring out how to keep it and how to improving.
Yep.
Like that's the thing. I do let myself be afraid of all of this stuff, but I take action.
Yeah. Well, that's smart.
I am maybe stubborn. I might be the last among my colleagues to embrace AI if it comes to that. I know that I'm stubborn. I will be the last one. But until then, I'm doing those studies. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to improve. I am polishing every pixel in my art so that smallest change might be the difference between a new client and not getting a new client.
Absolutely true.
So we'll see that's the best we can do, is to do the best we can.
Absolutely. Well, dude, I'm gonna let you go because my phone's gonna die here in a minute. But we'll.
And my dogs need a walk.
Yeah. Go walk those dogs.
By the way,
And
my two cats and my two dogs are saying hi to yours.
Oh, cool. Well,
you have Cricket and Dino, right?
Cricket and Dino, yeah.
Yeah.
And who are your pups?
Lumi and Nori are the dogs, and Honey and Iki are the cats.
Oh, well.
3 boys and a girl.
Well, I knew I liked you. All right, dude. We'll talk again, though. Yeah, you want to hit me up again? We'll expand this talk. It was a good talk.
I don't know. It sounded terrible. I hit some of my voice. My English.
No, it was great. I don't think it.
Under this amount of pressure, but I appreciate you listening to our perspective. I try to speak for a lot of us, but I also speak only for myself. You've been great. Thank you for not debating me, because
No, it's all good, dude.
I know how that can also sound.
It can be, it can
But
be an ugly
again,
thing. No, it was all
I
good, dude.
appreciate your work.
Yeah. Stay, enjoy your new job, and congrats with that. And we'll talk again, okay, dude?
I will, and keep advocating for workers. You're so rare in that, and
All right.
I'm learning so much from you.
All right, I'm gonna keep doing it then.
I'll send you just one more message. Probably I won't bother you, but again, thank you so much for this talk.
Yeah, no worries, man. Have a good night, okay?
You too.
Bye-bye. Cool cat. That's a cool cat. That's a cool cat. I'm gonna smoke the rest of this bowl, and then I'm getting the fuck up out of here. I'm gonna go play some Warhammer or something. I don't know what I'm gonna play. I'm getting bored with that Warhammer game. I'd eat something else. Way better than the last dude you had on. Yeah. Well, it's just a way better conversation. Like, that dude actually knew some shit. He wasn't just like a Destiny nut-hugging debate lord. Like, he is a working artist, so it made for an interesting conversation. Smoking on Jaeger? Oh, no. The fuck is Jaeger, bro? Don't smoke that. Yeah, it was a chill discussion. And, you know, I don't think that there was any, like... It's like you've gotta be the type of person that appreciates that type of discussion, and I don't think most people do. Especially kind of like in the niche where I work, it seems like a lot of people want that contention, they want that ponage, and they want ultimately to feel like somebody was right at the end of it. And for me, when you're talking about like something that isn't reducible to cold, hard mathematical fact, then what are you talking about right? You know what I mean? Unless we're talking math, who cares who's right? Oh, it's a strain. Sorry, I'm an old school guy. I don't know all these strains and shit. I just like to smoke weed. I know some strains, but yeah, I haven't heard of all the wacky tobacco strains. But yeah, no, I mean, you got to be able to appreciate those types of talks. Yeah. Like, how is your perspective informed by the conversation you listened to? You know? It's not about who won. It's about did your perspective get broadened on any subject? You know? Are you going to be armed with something that you might use in a conversation going forward? Did something tweak your nose a little bit that you're going to go look into? You know, those sorts of things matter way more than who's right, who's wrong. I stopped using my ability to go on Destiny's show because I feel like that show is so regimented towards that adversarial shit, and that there's really no space to just have a broad and expansive conversation in his kind of format, you know. And you know, I liked the first time I got to talk to Destiny, because well, because the conversation was like multifaceted and it was expansive and rambling and broad, and I liked that. I liked that about it. And then it just seems like he's not really interested in having another one of those. He's like hyper specific. What do you want, bud? You know, it's like, yeah, we're not talking about that right now. You know, like maybe he didn't enjoy it as much as I did. You know, maybe that's just the truth of it. But yeah, you know, that type of conversation seems to be like missing. Have that new conversation smell. Yeah. Did you get to bang his ex-wife? No. Damn it. No. Never even got an offer. I must be just so low tier, man. I didn't even get hit up. She didn't even pop in the DMs, bro. She didn't even hop in the DMs, bro. I'm kidding. I think it's funny, like, to the extent, like, if you're gonna be open with how your, like, relationship is structured on that level, then you can't be a sensitive person, I don't think. You know? I'm not saying Destiny is. I think he handles it probably way better than most people would. He probably puts up with just, like, constant shit from it. And it definitely doesn't, like, color his career. But, you know, like, you really just got to be prepared, because people are gonna fucking point and laugh and look and all that. You blew it! Man, there's just... He's quite bitter now. Are you an anti-Destiny guy? See, this is what I'm saying, dude. Look at this toxic ass shit, dude. It's just like everything around dude is radioactive, bro. His fans, the anti-fans, dude. Dude, I got it both ways. You guys realize that? I got it from his fans, who told me how deeply and embarrassingly and ashamedly he had pwned me. And I got it from the anti-fan community too, that was like, you should have done this, you should have got that, you did a horrible job, made a fucking blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You could have pwned him on this, you could pwn him. It's like, fuck, bro. It was like the least consequential conversation I had that week, and then like I woke up the next day and the world was like, you know what I mean? It's just like, whoa, buddy. But I'm thinking like maybe after the election shit happens, maybe shit'll calm down a little bit, and he'll be more open to having like an expansive conversation about some other like political topic. Because I feel like everything is just gonna, like, right now, if you want to talk to mainstream political people, everything is gonna boil down to but Trump. And I just can't have that fucking conversation again, bro. It is so fucking childish. And look, dude, you can tack on a bunch of shit, but ultimately you boil that shit down, but Trump. It's like, all right, man. Well, when this is over, maybe we can talk about this shit, bro. Like, when all this shit is over, maybe we can talk about it. Get Mystery Inc. out of here, bro. Dude is a fucking dribbling retard. Nuke it. Like, motherfucker thinks he's like spinning comedy out there in the audience, bro. Dunk it. Put his head in the toilet and flush the toilet. See? Look at Dwayne Strockman, dude. Trump or Harris? Neither. Neither, and I'm sick of you motherfuckers. I'm sick of you football politics motherfuckers. I can't wait till the Super Bowl is over. Can't wait till November when the Super Bowl happens and you motherfuckers all go back into a coma for 4 years. FUBA. Football politics. What team are you rooting for, bro? It's got to be one of the other 50-50. Fucking politics every 4 years. Politics motherfuckers are the worst people, bro. They come out of fucking they're like vampires, dude. They come shambling up out of the crypt every 4 years to shame you. Who are you voting for, man? And then, like, you know, in November they go back into the crypt. Like, fuck, bro. So you participate in our democracy, or are you just entirely black-pilled on the system? I participate as an agitator against the system. And my participation electorally, I just don't talk about it. It is what it is. It doesn't matter. My one vote ain't swinging shit. So who I'm voting for, nobody's concern. Or whether I vote. I ain't over your shoulder in the fucking voting booth, so, you know. Yeah, I don't mean to be, you know, I didn't mean that to be like all confrontational or whatever the fuck. I'm just tired of it. How can so many people still support Trump? The same way so many people support the Democratic Party nominee. It's just empty-headedness. Pure and simple. Straight up empty-headedness. And with that, I bid you motherfuckers adieu. Good night.